Welcome back. All right, so 5 games in the NHL tonight. We have 11 games tomorrow. They're all going to be on at the same time. The good news is a couple of them feature teams that are really out of the playoff race, so I don't have to focus on them as much, so I'm not nearly as concerned as I would have been, say, a couple months ago by a night that's that busy where I feel like I have to follow absolutely everything. That being said, tonight, relatively slower night, slowish. Wednesday's slow. Only 2 games Wednesday, but tonight we had 5, starting with the LA Kings against the Boston Bruins. I no longer have faith in the Boston Bruins in the final minute of a game. It's done, and that's an alarming trend. So it's Peterson versus Ullmark in this one. Early chances are for the Bruins. In fact, 5 minutes into this, the shots are 5-0 for the Bruins. So they start out very well. Lazar is a net drive, that won't go. Coyle to Frederick was defended, as that line continues to be pretty darn good. So since there's already a line they call the perfection line, I think they should call this one the almost perfection line. Sure, why not? So Smith has a chance on a rebound. Peterson holds there. Grundstrom has a net feed that was cleared. Anderson down, reverse hit by Marchand. Those seem to be getting more and more prominent now. The guys see the hit coming, and then they back into it, and it works. Frederick then with a net feed, that's caught and held, but his next opportunity goes in the net. He scores from Smith and Coyle at 14:02, and it was a rebound off a Coyle shot that Smith gets, puts over to Frederick, and no chance for Peterson there. But the lead doesn't last. At 15:11, it's Lizotte from Mata and Grundstrom, and it was on a really good forecheck by the LA Kings that they get this one back. Much better second half for the Kings than the first half. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Kempe's denied as the Kings press. They get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Bergeron. That was saved. McAvoy couldn't bury one shorthanded either. Bruins kill it off. They had the best chances. There was only one power play shot for the Kings, and I think there were 3 or 4 for Boston. It felt that way anyways. Kings get another power play, but another strong penalty kill by the Bruins kills that off. Bruins then pressed after the kill was done. Lazar with a wraparound, that's defended. Anderson Dolan has a blast that's saved. And then it's Smith from Coyle and Riley at 19:05. Great play by Coyle. Sets that up. And yeah, Coyle, big hero through 40 minutes. Third period, early press by the Kings. The Bruins press back. There's a delay game call in LA. The Kings did kill that off. Howe was denied. That is the only power play Boston had in the game. So the shots are 6-3 for Boston at 7.5 minutes. The Kings press at 9 minutes. Peterson keeps it 2-1 when the Bruins push back. Hall fires one wide on a rush. Howell is denied as the Bruins press. The goaltender gets pulled with 2:10 left, and that's when things get kind of nervous for the Bruins. Lately, it just seems like the other team's got the 6th attacker, and so here we go. Athanasiou whiffs on one. And Jack was having a hard time saying the name Athanasiou, which was entertaining. He got it right like 50% of the time. Roy has a chance saved. Kings are pressing. With 30.8 seconds left, Kings call a timeout. And they score pretty quickly off of that faceoff. It is Moore from Kaliev and Dursey at 19:34. I think they said this is the 3rd time in the last 4 games that they've allowed a goal in the final minute. Yep, it feels that way. So Kempe versus Forbert happens at the horn, which I thought, well, that would make some sense for Boston because it takes Kempe out of the overtime. So it's a smart play by Forbert to pick a fight with a guy that's their leading goal scorer. Doesn't matter. Overtime, the Bruins controlled early. DeBrusque can't bury one. Riley has a chance that's saved and held. There's a near miss for Kopitar. And then Coyle turns the puck over to Athanasiou, who scores at 1:53. And while Coyle might have been the hero through 40 minutes, he ends up being on the ice for the game-winning goal against the Bruins, and it goes right to Athanasiou. The Kings win this one 3-2. They go to 32-19-7 with the win. With the overtime loss, Boston 34-18-5. So they do get a point. They pull a point further ahead of Washington or Idle. They pull a point further ahead of Columbus, but it doesn't feel great right now with Boston. So the shots, 12-11 Boston in the first, 8-6 Boston in the second, 11-9 Boston in the third. 2-1 LA in the overtime. Final shots 32-28 for Boston. Power plays LA over 2, Boston 0 for 1. Peterson saves 30 out of 32. He was excellent. Ullmark was as well. 25 saves on 28 shots. And coming into this game, LA was number 9 in my power rankings. Boston was number 8, so I went ahead and switched them. So coming out of tonight, LA is in the top row. Whether they stay there, that's a whole other discussion for another time. Next up, so Florida, they're back. And I said this, when I did this week's power rankings, and I stand by it. They're just back. Yeah, they went through a small speed bump. They did, but they're back. It's Knight versus Anderson. Panthers have an early press. The Sabres had the only 2 shots in the game 4 minutes in, and at 5:22 on their first shot, Florida scores. It's Montour from Barkov and Marchment. Panthers press for another. They don't get a shot out of that. Krebs passes to Huberdeau, fires wide. You don't pass to Huberdeau if you're Krebs. That's the wrong team. So the shots are 4-1 for the Sabres at 7.5 minutes, and it really felt like what I talked about this morning. With this is what Florida does. They're asleep. Well, it looks like Florida doesn't have it, and then all of a sudden they do. So the puck goes in the Sabres net, but what happened was that it got lifted up and it went under the side of it, so that goal doesn't count. Not like it matters. Sabres get a power play, or the Panthers get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Dahlin. He can't get a shot. Tuck does. After the kill, Okposo fires one wide on the rush. The Sabres go. So it says Sabres get a power play and shorthanded Dahlin rush. I don't think that's what I meant, but anyways, it's fine. So the Sabres go to the power play. That's killed off. Thompson's denied and close. The shots with 3 minutes left are 11-3 for the Sabres. No shots in the final 3 minutes either way. So the Sabres controlled a lot of that first period. They had opportunities. Spencer Knight looked good. Florida buried the first chance they got. We go to the second period. Back and forth chances early. Barkov's denied on a turnover. But at 5:54, it's Noel Acciari with his first of the season from Weegar and Marchment. The shots are 8-3 for Florida at 7 minutes. And they're awake. And they're 2-0 they're up 2-0 at the time they wake up. Panthers get a power play. They score on it. It's Duclair from Barkov and Reinhart at 7:39. Sabres get a power play. That's killed off. Verhaeghe would score after that, though, from Marchment and Luostarinen at 11:39. And then a little over a minute later, Hornqvist adds another from Bennett and Weegar. So at 12:42, it is now 5-0. Tuck nearly answers that. There's a post for Reinhart. Panthers press. Power play for the Panthers. That's killed off. Sabres get a power play in the final 30 seconds. That had to have been a Buffalo power play because Buffalo only killed one. So I'm not sure why I say shorthanded Dahlin rush. It's a power play Dahlin rush there. We go to the third period. Panthers finish the kill. Skinner can't bury one. The shots are 3-0 for the Sabres at 5 minutes. So again, Panthers are taking it pretty easy. So they get a power play and they score on it at 6:50. I might have been the first shot of the period. Barkov from Huberdeau and Duclair. Sabres get a power play. Krebs was denied during that. It's killed off. And then the only thing left was, does Spencer Knight get a shutout? The answer is no. At 13:48 of the third period, Hayden tips one from Asplund and Fitzgerald. So it's a rush chance. It goes in, makes it 6-1. Some punching happens late. Gudas was the one that got it going. No surprise there. Your winner's 6-1. There's the no mercy magnet because it's a 5-goal spread. 38-13-5 is the record for Florida. 18-32-8 is now the record for Buffalo. Your shots, 11-3 Buffalo in the first, 20-7 Florida in the second, 12-8 Buffalo in the third. Final shots, 31-30 for Florida. Power plays, the Panthers 2 for 3, Buffalo 0 for 5. Knight saves 29 out of 30. That is exactly the kind of game Spencer Knight had to put up. He had to go out there, and I know it's Buffalo. I understand it's Buffalo. He had to go in there and show he could stop some shots. Anderson saves 25 out of 31. They just left him there. There's a magnet I need, and I realized this with the Anderson one. I need a magnet that I can use when a goaltender's getting shelled and doesn't get pulled. It needs to be a Patrick Waugh magnet of him with his arms in the air. For that last game, he played as a Hab. I need that. If a goalie allows 6 or more goals and he's not pulled from a game, I need that magnet. I think that would be a really fun addition to reviews. He needs to just be a little Patrick Waugh with his arms in the air. I don't even know how. Yeah, I don't. I guess I could look up the picture online and print it out and cut it. But yeah, I thought of that during this game. I thought, yeah, when a goaltender's not pulled, I should have that magnet. Since I have the no mercy rule, I should also have the no mercy rule for goaltenders, and it should be a Patrick Waugh magnet. All right. That said, moving along, Toronto. This was close. And Leafs fans, I'm sure, aren't feeling fantastic about this game. They're feeling good about parts of it, I would think, and kind of uncertain about others. So it's Mrazek versus Merzlikins in this one. Kampf has a spinning shot early that was saved. Leafs had 4 shots in the first minute and 32 seconds. They came out, they were playing very, very well, and Columbus was flat. We get a power play for the Leafs. That's killed off. There's a net feed to Kerfoot that's defended, and then Mikheyev opens the scoring from Engvall and Kampf at 8:06. So Toronto gets on the board at 8:06 to go up 1-0. That was on a turnover, and Columbus, the turnovers were just killing them early in this one. Leafs then press for another. Domi can't bury one at the other end of the ice. The Leafs would press after he couldn't bury one. Columbus gets a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Kampf. He hits the side of the net. It's killed off. Gets 2 shots for Columbus. Mitch Marner then scores from Bunting and Liljegren at 14:01 on a really strong press by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then at 17:06, Austin Matthews with his 40th of the season from Mitch Marner. He buries it in close. And so after the first period, it's 3-0 Toronto. What's the worst lead in hockey? Used to be 2-goal lead. Now it's 3. So early in the second period, Kuraly scores from Domi at 1:45. So this is where that alarm bell should be going off if you're Toronto. Like, hey, we got to turn this back and we got to get some goals. However, Bunting and Matthews can't bury one. Laine's denied as Columbus presses. Things get kind of scrummy after a save by Mrazek. We get a fight between Hall and Domi. Domi doesn't surprise me. Hall kind of does. Shots are 8-4 for Columbus at 8 minutes. So they came out and played very well to start the period. There's a press by Columbus. Things get scrummy again after a save because they're not just taking one guy out of that scrum, right? Much better period for Columbus thus far. There's a near miss for Tavares and close. Mikheyev with a rush chance, that saved. Nyquist has a rush chance that saved. Really good back and forth. Then we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. During that, Bjorkstrand scores from Nyquist and Peak at 18:49, and they had a good cycle going on. The cycle's impressive when you get that shot on the net and it goes in. When the cycle just does the cycle thing and you don't get the shots, it's less impressive. So Werenski then has a shot that's saved. There's more pushing and shoving with 5.9 seconds left. But we go to the third period with the score now 3-2. So this is where Toronto got to wake up, get things going. There's an early power play for Columbus, and they score on it. At 2:28, it's Roslovic. He scores from Domi and Nyquist, and it was a fantastic pass by Domi to set it up. And so that ties the game. Domi then with a fast break, that's defended, as now Columbus is going for the lead. Kuraly's tonight. Columbus has all the momentum. There's a goal line stand by Elvis as well. However, at 4:19, Kerfoot scores from Spezza at Simmons. So that kind of puts some cold water on that fire that Columbus was getting going. Shots are 9-4 though, with Columbus for Columbus with 9.5 minutes left. They did have pressure in the Toronto end, but now they're down by a goal again. And then at 11:21, Bunting scores from Matthews and Brody. So that's right when I was writing up the shots. So then they were 9-5 because Bunting gets that goal. So Bunting stays hot. He scores a lot of goals on the road. That's to go with his assists as well. That line is working very, very well. The Leafs then press with 4 minutes left. Columbus gets a power play with 3 minutes left. They go 6-on-4 with 2:35 left. The power play's killed off. It gets 3 shots. And just as you're kind of relaxing, at 19 minutes and 12 seconds, Laine scores. He scores from Werenski and Voracek, makes it 5-4. Columbus calls a timeout. Toronto holds on. They win this one 5-4. They go to 36-16-4. They move 3 points ahead of Boston. Columbus 28-26-3. Lose a point on Boston. They do not gain ground on the Washington Capitals either. The shots in this one, 13-5 Toronto in the first, 14-13 Columbus in the second, 16-7 Columbus in the third. Final shots, 35-33 for the Blue Jackets. Power plays, Toronto 0 for 1, Columbus 1 for 3. Mrazek saves 31 out of 35, and Merzlikins saves 28 out of 33. So, high-scoring game. Toronto comes out with the win, but again, there's still some stuff to be worked on here. I don't think this game did anything to make people feel better about the defensive issues, the goaltending stuff that's been going on. I think this is going to keep... And it still feels like this is a team that just mentally has this fragility that as soon as the game starts turning against them, they tense up, they tighten up, and so they get the win. They're a playoff team, absolutely, but they've got to figure this out, because otherwise when we get into May, we get into the playoffs, it could be a short playoff for Toronto, so they have to fix this issue. All right, next up, Colorado in against New York Islanders. This one was close, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So it's Francouz versus former Colorado Avalanche goaltender Semyon Varlamov. So you know Varlamov wants to get the win, and he played like he did. So early chances for the Avs. Obe Kubela's a rush chance that fires wide. The Islanders get the first power play of the game, and they score on it. It's Anders Lee from Dobson and Beauvillier at 8:59. And that's on a turnover where Colorado might have had a chance to get it out, but they turn it over, and so the Islanders get the goal. Kadri was then denied on a fast break. We get 2 minutes of 5-on-5. There's a rush chance for McKinnon. That was saved. The Avs press. Varlamov saving here. We get a power play for the Avs, and Makar. Cale Makar scores on the power play from Kadri and McKinnon at 14:18. And then Jost, wearing the fishbowl because he's got the jaw issue, he nearly adds another. And so you can see the momentums with Colorado. The Islanders couldn't bury on a buzzer beater. They had the opportunity, but the Avs, with 20 shots in the first period, were a dominant team. Second period, slower start for the Avs. I think they only had one shot in the first 4 minutes, something like that. Bellows has a net drive defended. His next chance, he fired high. Kiefer Bellows is one of those guys that eventually I think he's going to go on a goal-scoring run. Not this year in all likelihood, but at some point I think it's going to happen. Martin to Cizikas, that won't go. Francouz holds on as the Islanders press. Kadri goes end-to-end. Pulock breaks it up. So Pulock does not let Kadri get to the net. The Islanders nearly score at the halfway mark. Green to Clutterbuck won't go. The Avs then out a 2-on-1, Newhook's robbed. So this is an exciting back-and-forth game. And again, the Islanders feel like they're in this at this stage. Then the Islanders get a power play. There's a shorthanded rush for Helm that's saved and held. Helm's denied again. So this power play's killed off. And I think the Avs had 3 or 4 shots on their penalty kill. I think the Islanders had 1. So we go to the third period with it still tied at 1. The Avs get a power play, and after that's done, so they don't score on the power play, but they do score, and it's Rantanen from Landeskog and Kadri at 4:06. And that was after Varlamov made so many highlight reel saves, and then it goes in. So this is just the Islanders weren't able to capitalize on all those saves and get the puck out of the danger zone. Post then for Kadri in a rush, but Comfer would add to the lead from Newhook and O'Connor at 6:34. And then a minute and 7 seconds later, Makar scores his 20th goal of the season from McKinnon and Burakovsky at 7:41. So Makar with a couple of goals. And yeah, if you're of the belief that he's the best defenseman in the league, tonight did nothing to make you think otherwise. Then Taves scores from Landeskog and Kadri at 8:27. It's 5-1 with 11 and a half minutes left. The Islanders are done. It's finished. Pack her up. Go home. And yet, the rest of the period happens here. So the Avs get a power play, that's killed off. Then the Islanders get another power play, and they score on it. And it's Anders Lee with his 200th goal in the NHL from Dobson at 11:58. Not long after that, it's Casey Cizikas scoring at 13:28 from Palmieri and Pulock. Suddenly, it's 5-3. The Islanders get another power play. They go 6-on-4 with it. That was killed off, but at 19 minutes and 33 seconds, Nelson scores from Lee with 27 seconds left, makes it 5-4. The Avs hold on. So the Avs hold on. They win this game 5-4. They go to 41-11-5, so they're at 87 points now. For the Islanders, 21-24-8. Again, just keep fading, right, for the Islanders. The shots, 20-7 in favor of Colorado in the first, 15-11 Colorado in the second, 18-14 Islanders in the third. A very un-Islanders-like period in the third period because they needed a lot of goals. Final shots, 49-36 in favor of Colorado. It's so many shots. Power plays, Colorado 1 for 3, the Islanders 2 for 4. Francouz saves 32 out of 36. Varlamov saves 44 out of 49. So he allows 5 goals, still almost had a .900 save percentage, and a very entertaining game. So there you go. Now we need to change boards. Okay, so Calgary and Edmonton. And of course, coming into this, I saw a couple of comments along the lines of, you know, the Battle of Alberta has been very one-sided. It's been Oilers, Oilers, Oilers. Tonight, the Flames were bound and determined to make it not an Oilers victory. So it's Koskinen versus Markstrom, and it was quite the goaltending duel that we saw tonight. Shots are 5-1, though, for the Flames at 5 minutes. Good start by Calgary, which since the early point of the season, very, very early in the season, I noticed, the Oilers get off to if the Flames get off to a good start, they normally win. If the Flames are off to kind of a lethargic start, they normally lose. So Markstrom saves a tip shot as Edmonton would press. Koskinen holds a Lewis net feed. Oilers get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Toffoli that hits the side of the net. McDavid with a rush chance, that's saved, and it's the only shot of that power play. Again, the Oilers' power play is nowhere near what it was at the start of the year. The Oilers draw another power play. That one's killed off. By my count, no shots. With 1:54 left, Calgary gets a power play. During their power play, Koskinen loses his stick, so it's like a 5-on-3.5. But the Oilers did survive that, and so the 6 seconds rolls over into the second period. Easily killed at center ice, that part. After Kane and Tkachuk kind of were sticking each other during the opening face-off of the second period, so they both end up in the box for 2 minutes. And I thought, they could fight when they come out. They didn't, but they could have. It looked like they were at least thinking about it. Gaudreau fires one high and wide. Hanifin has a shot that's saved. Then there's some pushing after that. Malone's robbed. Great save there. The Oilers get their third power play. That's killed off as well. And then the Flames get what I believe was their first power play of the game. You take a look here. I don't think the Flames had a power play in the first period. Toffoli scores on said power play from Tkachuk and Gaudreau at 6:27. Yamamoto then can't bury one. The Oilers press at 8.5 minutes, and we get the dueling chance. Let's go, Oilers. Oilers suck. I'm surprised at how many fans from Edmonton are in Calgary, but, it makes it more fun to have a crowd that's not 50-50. A lot of Oiler jerseys there, but there were a lot of Flames jerseys, so not 50-50, but Oiler fans were loud. Toffoli scores his second goal of the period from Ruzicka and Mangiapane at 9:54. That one was scored on a rush opportunity. The Flames had momentum, and they were looking for more. Kane's then denied on a rush. There's some pushing after that. Kane was involved in a lot of pushing and a lot of chatter and a lot of chirping. Zadorov then has a chance that's saved in the final minute as the Flames had a couple opportunities. They come out of that second period up 2-0. Third period. 40 seconds in, there's a delay game call against Calgary. The Oilers go to the power play. There was a shorthanded break for Backlund. He's denied there. There's more shorthanded pressure. They don't even let the Oilers set it up. It's killed off. Doesn't even get set up. There was one shot on that power play. It was not like a big setup shot or anything. So yeah, the Oilers were 0 for 4, and that was the end of their power plays for the night. The Flames press 3 minutes in. McDavid's denied. Markstrom holds on that. And then a puck is put around the boards by Markstrom. It goes off the referee skate to Derek Ryan, puts it over to Shore. Shore buries it at 4:57. Markstrom was choked at the ref. It's the play, though. Refs are in play. Now, if a puck goes off a referee's skate directly into the net, it is no goal. If the puck goes off the referee's skate to another player, it's a live puck. Anything that happens after that is perfectly legal. So, Markstrom not happy, and that's his blemish tonight. Flames get a power play. Shillington fans on one. It's killed off. The Oilers press with 9 minutes left. With 8:07 left, though, the Flames go back to the power play. Tkachuk has a tip shot that's saved. There's a shorthanded 3-on-2 for the Oilers. That was defended. The power play is killed off, but then late in the period, 17:07, Johnny Gaudreau scores from Lindholm. And it was a breakaway goal, and it's Darnell Nurse that had a pass that was not well thought out, goes right to Lindholm. Lindholm gives it to Gaudreau. He's in alone, and he scores. Lucic then ends Broberg. Broberg skates off. Now, from the violence of the hit and then the way Broberg crashed into the boards, I can only assume that Broberg is now a ghost. So, and Lucic is just, he's big. And also surprisingly fast in the third period of this game. And I kept waiting to see him like gassed and bent over and just done. And pretty fast, actually. He's winning races for pucks and everything. 1:51 left. Benson's given a 10-minute misconduct. I don't know what he said from the bench, but the referees had heard enough. I guess he was chirping. I guess he'd been chirping a bunch and even waved and laughed as he left. But, I mean, you're taking yourself out of the game, so okay. 1:41 left. The Oilers call a timeout. They also pulled the goalie at that point. They are unable to get the second or third goal. Your final score is 3-1 for Calgary. They go to 34-14-7. The Oilers 30-23-4. This felt like a playoff game, and Calgary won it. Shots in this one, 8-6 Calgary in the first, 11-9 Edmonton in the second, 12-11 Calgary in the third. Final shots 29-28 for the Flames. Power plays, Edmonton 0 for 4, Calgary 1 for 4. Koskinen saves 26 out of 29. He played very well. Markstrom saved 27 out of 28. He was excellent. So, your final score is 3-1. The Flames win. And with the Flames and the Kings winning, they are extending that lead over all the teams chasing them in the Pacific. And the Pacific starts to look a little better with teams having the solid records that both Calgary and LA have been putting up. And for the Oilers, they're still below the playoff line. This game really hurts them now, and so they're going to need some help. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now with the Oilers. Battle of Alberta was kind of fun tonight. I'd still love to see it in the playoffs. Starting to get the feeling it may not happen. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.